Hello YouTube, welcome back to Kind Heart Homestead. I'm up here on our off-grid property in the mountains of Virginia, but it's raining outside. But I got a bit of a head start clearing this room out since we got the camper, that I feel comfortable starting on the drywall mudding, which is the first step in the finishing process for the drywall. I have some joint tape and some corner bead for inside corners. I've never actually purchased a independent corner bead before. Typically I just use tape and try to fold it in half. But because I'm trying to do this quickly, I'm trying to get the appropriate materials. So here is a bucket of pre-mixed joint compound. I'm going to see what the consistency is like. Alright, it actually doesn't feel too bad. Typically, I like to be able to flip the compound upside down and it not drip all over me. That way I can keep the floor and my shoes a bit cleaner. But also, it might need to be wetter for the finishing coats, but for now I'm really just trying to fill up that gap in the corner and get this tape applied. You may have noticed this flickering phenomenon happening on the video. That's because I'm using an LED light to light this room while I'm working. There's something about the refresh rate of a camera combined with the refresh rate of an LED light bulb that's not really compatible. I don't really have a way around that unless I was to buy some sort of new lighting system just for recording. I like to start off my drywall projects by cramming as much mud as I can into all of the gaps around the perimeter of the room. All of my corners have a slight gap between the sheets of drywall. However, you can see that once I get enough compound in there, I can use a corner trowel to kind of smooth it out flat enough for me to apply the tape. I'm using standard paper seam tape on these flat joints here, but around the edges of the room, whether it's a vertical corner or a horizontal corner, I'm using a corner bead. After I put the tape in place, I repeat the mudding process where I apply a thick coat of mud and then I use the corner trowel again to make the surface smooth on top of the tape. I repeated this process for all 4 walls in the bathroom as well as the ceiling, but I do have to wait at least 24 hours between coats. So I'm pretty sure I'll have to wait for the next trip to continue on the bathroom. Instead of a time lapse, I wanted to provide a clip of a more real-time speed. So here you can see me sizing out the inside corner bead for this joint of the wall where it transitions to the ceiling. This is a pretty small piece, and it's a lot easier to deal with the pieces when they're small, especially since I have to fold this in half, and the longer it goes, the more likely it is to bend over under its own weight. So I have the mud in place, and now I can just kind of shove this into it. You can see I left it a bit long on purpose on that side because there was a bit of a lip, and then that way I can just cut a small notch in it and fold it up. This is the only place where I'm going to have any sort of lip like this. If you've seen my other videos, you know that my drain pipe plumbing for the shower drain was 1 inch too far from the wall. So I had to essentially shim out the wall 1 more inch. So I have some strips of zip sheathing behind this drywall, and then the drywall comes out 1 inch farther than the drywall that you see above the window. I couldn't shim out the entire wall because the toilet drain is exactly where it needs to be. And if I shimmed out that drywall behind the toilet, then the toilet would not fit. So I guess due to my lack of experience with concrete and drain pipe placement, I ran into this issue, and I'll have to try to avoid stuff like this in future projects, especially for the house. Anyway, back to the taping. You can see now that the corner bead is in place, I just need to add drywall compound on top of it. I tend to just use my 6-inch trowel because it's the easiest. I do have a larger one, but it doesn't actually fit in my drywall bucket. I should probably purchase an 8-inch or a 10-inch drywall knife. That would be a pretty good addition to my collection. Now that I have enough compound on here, I'm using my 90-degree trowel to smooth over the tape, and that makes sure that there's a slightly rounded radius in the corner section, and it's not actually scraping the mud off of the tape in the corner. And when I'm using a sharp blade, like the 6-inch knife, to do that instead, it will pull the mud right out of the corner. So I do recommend for any DIYers, go get one of those 90-degree tools. And here is what it looks like after doing a first coat in the bathroom. After this, I'm going to work my way over to the living room, laundry room area, taping all the vertical corners and maybe some horizontal if I have the time. think I just finished up for the day. There's a huge storm outside. I haven't seen it rain this hard here in a very long time. It's probably because I tend to plan my trips around the weather and I try to avoid the rain. I'm up here in the rain this time because I can finally work inside. But let me show you what I've been working on. All of the vertical corner beads are up. These are all inside corners. Should be 8 of them because there's 4 in this big living room, laundry room area. And then there's 4 here in the bathroom. Actually 5 because of this weird little lip that I'm gonna have to deal with. I think what I'm gonna do is let this dry, try to shave the excess off. There's about like a 1/8 excess, and then I should put a exterior corner bead on that. And since it's right next to the toilet, people might be shuffling around, so that might help protect that corner. But the first coat of everything is in the bathroom. I wanted to focus on that, start on that, because this shower kit that I got, it's a corner shower. It requires a finished wall behind it. And while it doesn't need to be super fancy finished, like several levels of drywall finishing, I do want to at least have the mud there to seal up the seams. So after this dries and I give it a sanding, I might be able to put this shower in, but I might also want to keep it off until I paint. I'll have to make that decision later on. But I'm making progress, and just before I put the trowels and stuff away, I used up the rest of the mud in my pan to just fill a bunch of screw holes, and it's already looking a lot nicer in here. So if you want to see more progress on this drywall or upcoming solar projects, plumbing projects, and starting to clean up the camper, please go ahead and subscribe now, and I'll see you next time on Kind Heart Homestead.